Happy Thanksgiving, friends! I can't believe it's that time of year already. Next week, I'm hoping to have a little vlog for you of me and Minnie and James and her first Thanksgiving-ish time. But today I want to share with you a Thanksgiving story. And it's a Thanksgiving story not because it happened at Thanksgiving, but because it's just something I'm so thankful for. So there's this amazing verse in the Bible in 1 Chronicles 29, verse 14, which says, "All things come from you, O Lord, and of your own have we given you." I want to share with you my story about this, and I call it when God asked me to give $1,000 that I did not have. It starts off small because I think a lot of times before God asks us to take that huge leap of faith that feels impossible, He builds our faith slowly in small ways. So there were two small ways that stand out to me right before He asked me to give the $1,000. So when I started traveling and speaking, and I have a vlog about that process linked down below, that I had quit my job and my apartment and all this stuff, right? I still had student loans to pay off and I didn't have a ton in my bank account. I had a small emergency fund, but that was it because I was just paying on my loans with everything I made. So I'm driving through Chicago on this first speaking tour and I noticed that my tire is low on air. And so I pull into a gas station and I'm praying. I'm like, God, I've never filled a tire with air before, which I should have done before I left on a cross-country road trip. But I was like, I'm not exactly sure how to do this. Would you provide someone who can help me? And so I pull into the gas station over to the air pumps and there's nobody there. And I'm like, that's fine, God, it'll be fine. I'll figure it out. Watch a YouTube video on it. And so I go into the gas station to get change for the air pump and I come back out and there's a man there filling my tires with air. I did not even ask him. He's just doing it. And I was just like, whoa. It was so cool, right? So that was the first step in learning to trust God that He's gonna provide. Second step for me was about a month later, I was in Pennsylvania and my computer started dying. And I needed my computer because I was gonna be teaching some online courses in the spring. And I just started praying. I was like, God, would you provide a computer? So one day, as I am praying, a friend of mine from my church back home texts me and she says, "So I just feel like God put on my heart to ask you if there's anything you need." And I was like, well, I need a new computer. So if you know of someone selling one secondhand, like an old Mac or something like that, let me know. So I get home from that trip around Thanksgiving time, Thanksgiving story, and I have an envelope on my kitchen table that's come in the mail. And a bunch of people at my church put some money together to send me to buy a new laptop. And on top of that, one of the colleges I had just spoken at, that I had only charged them $100 and they paid me $1,000. And so I contacted them. I was like, I think you added a zero, the check is wrong. And they were like, no, we wanted to pay you more. And so between those two things, I bought a brand new MacBook Pro. And I was like, Jesus, you are gonna take care of me. So those are the stepping stones, right, up to this big ask. So in January, I'm in DC, meeting with this ministry there, and I'm at the hotel working out on the treadmill beforehand, reading this book, Radical by David Platt, which talks a lot about living a radical life and giving generously, even when it hurts and all this stuff. And I was really into the book and I'm thinking about it, praying about it, and all of a sudden I feel like God puts this in my heart. I felt like He was like, Tiff, I want you to give $1,000 to this certain ministry. And it was a missions ministry that friends of mine from growing up had actually started. At the time, that felt impossible. I was like, God, have you seen my bank account? I've got my minuscule emergency fund and all these student loans. And I was like, but if you provide the money, I'll give it. So I left on that tour for the spring and it was just so cool because all these places were yeah, come speak here and come speak here. And I wasn't charging very much at all. And a lot of them would pay me more than I'd asked for. And I was like, this is crazy. And I started just setting aside money. I'd pull out some cash and just put it in an envelope after each place I spoke. And I get home and not only have I been able to pay above and beyond, way above and beyond the minimum amounts of my student loans and get a lot of money paid off. And not only have I been able to give to other places, but I now have $1,000 cash in this envelope to give to my friend's mission organization. And I was like, what? This is crazy. And it was so cool because it wasn't I came up with the money on my own. It was God asked me to give it and then He gave me the money to give. How crazy is that? All things come from you, O Lord, and of your own have we given you. Another translation puts it this way: for all things come from you, and from your own hand we have given to you. What a cool God we serve, that He even gives us what we need to give. And so that is my Thanksgiving story. And I would love to hear in the comments, what are some ways that God has given to you so that you could give back to Him or give to someone somebody else? Would you comment those stories down below, because I'd love to hear them. And I'll see you next week, hopefully for a vlog with me and James and Minnie celebrating her first Thanksgiving. I love you girls, and I'll see you next week. Bye.